Hi all, welcome to this session of Class 6 Mathematics, and I am your Anu from mathschool.1. Last class we have been seeing Playing with Numbers chapter 3, and I have summarized up to the about factors and multiples, and I have told you about the types of numbers like odd numbers, even numbers, prime and composite numbers, and perfect numbers, and like co-primes and twin primes. Okay, now we'll move further and we'll see what we can do about the factors and multiples. We have read about factors and multiples and what we can do with them. Okay, so let's get started. Now we have been seeing factors and multiples, isn't it? First we'll take factors. For 8 and 12, 8 and 12, there are numbers like 8 and 12, and we are going to list out factors for these two numbers. Okay, see, 1 and 8, 2 and 4. So these are the factors now. For 12 it is 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 2 6 are 12, 3 and 4, isn't it? So these are the factors I have listed for the two numbers. Now let me see what are the common factors I have for the two numbers. See, I have 2 as a common factor and the next one is 4 as the common factor. Now how do I find out the common, that is the highest common factor? I need to pick it. Okay, so because I am concerned with the highest common factor which can divide both 8 and 12, so I wish to see the highest common factor. So the highest common factor obviously here is 4 for me. So the HCF, or what is called the highest common factor, is 4 for 8 and 12. It is also called as GCD, or the greatest common divisor, because we know every factor is a divisor of that number, isn't it? So the greatest common divisor or the highest common factor is 4 for 8 and 12. So how do you say this is the highest common factor? Because 4 divides 8 and 12 exactly, and this is the highest common factor. Even 2 is a factor of both the numbers 8 and 12, but we are concerned with the highest common factor. The maximum value of the factor is 4 here. Now where do we apply this concept of highest common factor in real life? We know factors are smaller numbers, isn't it? I've told you factors are smaller numbers. They are equal to or smaller than the given number. So when we are given with a number and we need to do fractions, we need to divide them equally, and we need a maximum number in each and every portion. Do you understand what I say? See, if at all there are some group of soldiers in an army, and the army chief need to assemble them in rows. Okay, you just imagine the army chief need to assemble the soldiers in a row. So he need to fraction the whole number of soldiers, all the soldiers, he need to fraction them in equal parts, and he wishes to see maximum number of people stand in each row. That is maximum possible arrangement he has to make. He has to divide them in rows, but he has to see that it will be the maximum number in one row. The setup has the maximum number of soldiers in each row. So like that, he has to fraction the whole number of soldiers in the army, okay, in the regiment. So for that purposes, we see HCF is greatly used, because as I said, there are two factors common, 2 and 4. But if I have, so let us imagine, if I have some 8 and 12 soldiers, 8 to 12 soldiers, if I need to arrange them, 8 soldiers in one regiment and 12 soldiers in one regiment, I need to make them to stand each regiment separately in rows, but I should have maximum number of soldiers in each row. Then what would I prefer? If I wish to prefer 2 or if I wish to prefer 4, it is Obviously 4, because if I place two soldiers in one row, it will extend as a big line, isn't it? So maximum number of soldiers 4 can be accommodated in each row, so that soldiers can be placed easily in each row and for each regiment also. Do you understand what I say? So a whole number is made into fractions, and it is seen that each fraction has maximum number possible. So that is what HCF, or the highest common fraction factor means, or the greatest common divisor means, and it useful in that way. Okay, so this is one way of listing out the factors and finding out the highest common factor, but this may take some time when you go for higher values, bigger numbers. Okay, so what is the next method of finding HCF? Obviously, we need to know the prime factors. We have studied about prime numbers, isn't it? So we'll go for prime factors. See, for 12 and 36, I take HCF of 12 and 36. I see which is the highest common factor for 12 and 36. So I prime factorize. So how do I prime factorize? I use factor tree method. So 2 into 6, and this becomes 2 into 3. See, I have got 2 into 2 into 3. 2 2s are 4 and 4 3s are 12. And now for 36, 2 into 18 and 2 into 9, and this is 3 into 3. So I just select the prime number 0. Okay, now I list out all the prime factors of 12 and 36. For 12 it is 2 into 2 into 3, and for 36 it is 2 into 2 into 3 into 3. Now what should I do to find the highest common factor? The next step in this procedure is, first step is finding out the prime factors, and the next step is, after listing out the prime factors, what I need to do is I need to pair the common factors in both the numbers. Okay, even if there are 3 numbers or 4 numbers for which HCF has to be found out, you need to make pairs. You need to find out numbers which are common in all the numbers, not just 2 numbers and here 2 numbers. No, it has to be common in all the numbers. Okay, so 2 both the numbers, and another set of 2 in both the numbers, and so you form a loop like this. Now for this 3, there is no 3 here, there is no pair here, so you leave it. Now whatever you have paired, you just write it down. Now the HCF becomes, whatever you have paired, take 1 out of it. So for these 2 I take 2, for this 2, for this pair I take 1 2, and for this pair I take 1 3. So my answer is 4 into 3, that is 12. So 12 is my highest common factor for 12 and 36. Do you understand? How do we find HCF by prime factorization method? So this is by finding prime factors through factor tree method. Okay, so that is called factor tree method, and this is by factor tree method. By taking the same numbers 12 and 36, I will tell you how to find the prime factors by the long division method. See, 12 and 36, I am finding out prime factors. This is also prime factorization method. 2 6 are 12. Okay, this is what I need to do is, I need to select only prime numbers, because this is prime factorization. I need to select only prime factors here, and I need to see that it divides exactly without any remainder. There should not be any remainder when I divide. See, 2 6 are 12. It divides exactly, isn't it? Likewise, you need to choose the factors. See, here 2 3s are 6, and for 3 1s are 3, so that you get a remainder 0 everywhere as you go on dividing. So until you get 1, you proceed with the division. Now you have 2 into 2 into 3 here. Likewise for this 18, 9s are, and 3 3s are 9, 3 1s are 3. So up to 1. So I have stopped here. Again I need to list out the same prime numbers you will get as we did for prime factorization. The only thing is the method to find the prime factors is different. Again group them. See, again you get 2 into 2 into 3, that is 12. HCF is 12 again. Okay, so this is one kind of method that to find HCF. That is the method for finding prime factors. Okay, but grouping is same. Grouping of common factors in both the numbers is same for the factor tree as well as the division method, but you need to prime factorize for both. The next method is by long division. What you call long division is you divide both the numbers simultaneously. One thing you need to understand is we need to see, unlike the small division, short division, the long division is what is, you need to put the number here so that it divides both the numbers. That is, in other words, it's a factor. 2 is a factor of both 12 and 36. Okay, you can't divide, you can't put one number here and you divide one number and leave the other number, and then in the next step you put the number for the factor. No, it is not like that. For both the numbers, if you have a common factor, you should use that factor only. So 2 6 are 12 and 2 18s are 36. Now 6 and 18 has 2 as factor again. So 3 2 3s are 6 and 2 9s are 18. Now 3 and 9 has 3 as factor, isn't it? So 3, that is 1 and 3, you stop with this. See, 1 and 3, it stops with this because 1 and 3 you have. 1 and 3 doesn't have any number in common, isn't it? Isn't it? So you leave this, you take this alone. Okay, until I get 1 comma 1. If I get 1 comma 1, then whatever number you have in the side, you multiply them. Otherwise, you leave the number as it is. Okay, I can't put 3 here and write 1 comma 1. So I can't do that. Both the numbers should be, for both the numbers you should have a common factor. Then only you can divide. So I get 2 into 2, 4 3s are 12 again. So HCF is 12 again, even in this method. Do you understand? So this method is also used, the long division method is also used to find the HCF. Another method, which is called the Euclid's algorithm, is also used to find HCF. Euclid's algorithm. So what is Euclid's algorithm? Let me explain. So for the same number 12 and 36 I take. Okay. So I put 36, the bigger number, in the dividend and take 12 as divisor. Start dividing. 12 3s are 36. See, here itself you get the remainder 0. So when we do problems, we will take further examples so that you can understand Euclid's algorithm very easily. So this is 12. Now what you need to remember is, when I get a remainder 0, see, whenever I get a remainder 0 and the divisor which is responsible for getting 0 for me, that divisor becomes the HCF. So that is what Euclid algorithm says. Whenever I get remainder 0, where I get remainder 0, the divisor responsible for the division and the remainder 0 becomes HCF. So here 12 is the HCF because by dividing 12 I get 0, isn't it? So 12 is the HCF for 12 and 36. Okay. Now let me take some other examples so that you will be able to understand it more clearly. See, I take 12 and 18. Okay. So 18 is a bigger number, so I take it in the dividend. I divide it by 18. Divide the smaller number. Divided by smaller number. That is, divisor is always a smaller number. Dividend is always a bigger number. Now 12 ones are 12. You subtract it. You get 6 here. Now the remainder is not 0 for me, isn't it? So I take 6 here. So I take another number. Which divides 6. So what divides 6? 6 ones are. I take 6. So 6 ones are 6, the remainder becomes 0. So which divisor gives me a remainder 0 here? That is 6. So 6 is the HCF of 12 and 13. So 6 is the HCF of 12 and 13. Now do you understand how do we get HCF? Okay, if at all if there is another step which the first step if it doesn't give you 0 as a remainder, then see the number. See by which number you can divide the number to get a remainder 0, then that number becomes the HCF. Do you understand? So this is what we call the Euclid's algorithm. by which we find HCF. So this is one of the methods. We saw factor tree method to find prime factors, then the short division method to prime factorize, then the long division method, then the Euclid's algorithm. Then last one is we apply division algorithm to find HCF. So what is division algorithm? I think you would have studied this even before. That is, we know dividend is equal to divisor into quotient plus remainder, isn't it? When you can recall what you have studied. Dividend is equal to divisor into quotient plus remainder. By this way too you can find the HCF. Now let me tell you how. See, I take 12 and 18 again. I need to find the HCF. Since you know the HCF, it is 6. So we'll be understanding it more quickly. Now the dividend has to be the bigger number. Okay, I told you divisor. The smaller number is divisor here. So dividend 18, divisor is 12 here. 12 into 1, because the quotient, when you divide 18 by 12, you get quotient 1 and the remainder is 6 for me, isn't it? Now the next step what you do is bring the divisor to dividends place, because the bigger number comes here, isn't it? So bring the divisor to dividends place and bring the remainder to divisor place. That's all we need to do. Okay, bring the divisor to dividend place and bring the remainder to divisor place. Now I should write 12 in terms of 6. So 6 2s are 12 plus 0. See, I get the remainder 0 here. So which divisor is responsible for 0 getting a remainder 0 here? It is 6 here now, because this is divisor's place here. So 6 is here. So the thing I need to remember is I need to bring the divisor to the dividend place and the remainder to the divisor's place. Okay, so this divisor is responsible for getting a remainder 0 here. So this divisor becomes the HCF. So is it correct now? 12 and 18, for 12 and 18, HCF is 6 here. So we have got the same answer. So by this way too we can find out HCF. So I have taught you some methods to find HCF. You can find HCF in any one of the methods which I have taught you, which is easier for you. But to understand the concept of using different methods to find HCF and where the HCF is applied. As we move on to problems, as we move on to the end of the chapter and we go to solve problems, you will be understanding much about HCF, where HCF is applied. Okay, so that's it for this class, and we'll continue with LCM in the next class. Until then, it's goodbye from Anu from mathschool.1. Bye.